Religious history tells us that tens of thousands of prophets have walked this planet. Yet most of their names and their stories are gone. The ones we do know come to us through layers of translation, political editing, and religious agendas. Pages have been cut, books burned, entire worldviews quietly deleted. But there's a saying, two things can never stay hidden forever: the truth and the lie. In 1946, a group of bored shepherd kids in the desert accidentally proved that, while throwing stones into random caves near the cliffs of Qumran, on the edge of the Dead Sea, they heard something that shouldn't have been there: the sound of breaking pottery. Inside the cave, they found large clay jars. Inside those jars, ancient scrolls written on fragile parchment. Those scrolls turned out to be one of the most important discoveries in religious history. The Dead Sea Scrolls. Among nearly 900 manuscripts, there was one collection that terrified theologians and excited researchers. The Book of Enoch, the testimony of a prophet who, according to the text, walked with God, was taken alive into the heavens, saw the angels, learned their secrets, and wrote everything down. He described heavenly journeys, interdimensional beings, forbidden technology, and a coming global catastrophe. He described angels that sound suspiciously like something else. Today, most of the world has never even heard his name. So tonight, we're going to ask, who was Enoch, really? Why did multiple civilizations remember him under different names? Why did later religions ban his book? And did Enoch truly meet angels, or advanced non-human beings we would today call extraterrestrials? Welcome back to the Truth Archives. Our story begins in the rocky hills of Qumran, in what is now the West Bank. Two Bedouin kids are watching their goats. They get bored, like kids do, and start throwing stones into the dark mouths of the caves carved into the cliffs. One stone flies into a narrow opening, and instead of echoing off rock, they hear glass-like cracking. Curious, they climb up to investigate. Inside the cave, they find tall clay jars, sealed for over 2,000 years. Some are broken, others still intact. Instead of gold or coins, they find something far more dangerous to an empire: old parchment scrolls. Those scrolls end up in the hands of scholars, collectors, and eventually archaeologists. Over the next decade, excavations uncover scrolls from 11 caves around Qumran. Biblical texts, sectarian writings, strange prophecies, and the fragments of a banned book. One Enoch. Not one book, but 5 sections: the Book of the Watchers, the Book of Parables, the Astronomical Book, the Book of Dreams, and the Epistles or Admonitions of Enoch for mainstream Judaism and Christianity. This text is a problem. It talks about angels rebelling and mating with human women hybrid offspring called Nephilim, forbidden technology given to mankind, a global flood sent as a reset, and a prophet taken alive to the heavens, shown advanced realms and cosmic mechanisms, and then sent back as a messenger. In other words, Enoch describes the behind-the-scenes version of the stories we only glimpse in the Bible and Quran. So who is this man that every empire wanted us to forget? In the Book of Enoch, he introduces himself as the 7th from Adam, the 7th patriarch after the first human. Different cultures remember him under different names. In the Hebrew tradition, Enoch in Islamic tradition, Idris, the learned one. The scribe. In some interpretations, he is also linked with Kidr, the mysterious guide who knows hidden knowledge in ancient Egypt. Thoth, the ibis-headed god of writing, science, and magic for the Greeks. Hermes for the Romans. Mercury in esoteric traditions. Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary author of the Emerald Tablet's different names. Same archetype, the immortal scribe, the keeper of secret knowledge, the one who learns from the gods and brings wisdom to humanity. In Egypt, Thoth is the one who records everything, the great librarian of the universe. He is credited with inventing writing, mathematics, astronomy, and sacred geometry. In Greek tradition, Hermes is the messenger of the gods, the one who moves between worlds, heaven, earth, and the underworld, carrying messages and knowledge. Hermes Trismegistus, in later occult tradition, is said to have carved his wisdom onto indestructible tablets, so that after a great flood, humanity could rebuild civilization using his notes. Sound familiar? Enoch's book presents him the same way, as a man who lived 365 years, who spent part of his life on earth, and part walking with God, who was shown the workings of the heavens, and who wrote his revelations down for future generations, specifically for the last days. So why would such a figure be deleted from mainstream religious education? Because of what and who he says he met. According to Enoch, the turning point in human history came when a group of powerful beings made a decision. They would break their orders, descend to earth, and live among humans. Enoch calls them the Watchers, angels whose job was to observe humanity, guard it, and report back to God. Their mission was surveillance and control, keep humans primitive, obedient, and limited. Humans were not meant to write, calculate, make weapons, or reach for the heavens. They were meant to serve. Over time, though, the Watchers began to desire more. Enoch says they looked upon the daughters of men and found them beautiful. Their leader, Samyaza, gathers about 200 of them and says, "We all know this is forbidden. We all know we will be punished. But I will do it. I will take human women. If you join me, swear that you will never betray this secret." They swear an oath and descend. They take wives among humans. They have children with them. These children are called Nephilim. Some traditions describe them as literal giants, towering, physically superior beings. But in ancient symbolism, giant also means great in power, great in knowledge, great in status, in other words. Hybrid elites, biologically and intellectually above normal humans. Watchers do more than reproduce. They begin to teach. Enoch lists what each angel taught: the movements of the stars and planets, metallurgy, forging of weapons and armor, cosmetics and seduction, magic, enchantments, and occult rituals, the secrets of the calendar and seasons, advanced knowledge that humans were never authorized to have. Sounds strange until you ask a simple question. If humans were created just a little above animals, where did the sudden leap to astronomy, metallurgy, complex calendars, and city building come from? According to Enoch, it came from them. To the rulers of heaven, this is not a blessing. It's a crime. The Watchers, once guardians, become corruptors. Their hybrid children, the Nephilim, become tyrants, devouring resources, oppressing humans, and even turning on animals in a frenzy of violence. The entire earth Enoch says, became filled with blood and chaos. And that's when heaven decided it was time for a reset. While the world spirals into violence, cries start to rise up from the humans who are being crushed under this hybrid elite. According to Enoch, the great archangel Michael finally hears the prayers of humanity and goes up to report. The earth is crying out. The blood of the innocent is screaming. The watchers have broken their oath. Think about that for a second. The all-powerful God of this system apparently needs reports from his angels to even realize what's going on. This is one of the many reasons. Researchers suspect that the God in Enoch is not the ultimate creator of the universe, but a powerful lesser ruler, a being with limitations, armies, and a throne. The heavenly council is called. 4 primary archangels step forward. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. They are given orders. Uriel is sent to warn Noah about a coming flood and tell him to build an ark. Raphael is told to bind Azazel, another rebel leader, in the depths of the earth. Gabriel is ordered to turn the hybrid races against each other so they destroy themselves. Michael is sent to lead a campaign against the Watchers. This is described not as instant magic, but as a long conflict, mirroring what many ancient myths call the War of the Gods. And in the middle of all this stands Enoch. He is taken up to deliver messages from the Watchers, begging for forgiveness, to the ruling God, asking for mercy from God. Sending back the verdict of judgment, Enoch becomes a negotiator in a war between powerful non-human factions. In the end, the verdict is harsh. The Watchers are imprisoned, some until the final judgment. Their children, the Nephilim, are wiped out by wars and by the Great Flood. Humanity is nearly erased, saved only through Noah and his line. A civilization collapses. An age ends. And Enoch? He doesn't die. He is taken, which brings us to one of the strangest parts of his story. Enoch describes his ascent to heaven in remarkable detail. He doesn't say, "I teleported" or "I vanished in a puff of light." He says he was taken in something. He describes it as a bright, shining cloud surrounded by intense light, with walls and floors that look like crystal or transparent stone. Remember, Enoch has never seen glass skyscrapers, LED lights, or spacecraft. He uses the vocabulary he has. Inside this glowing cloud, he feels motion. He is transported across realms, up through layers of reality. He arrives at what he calls the house of God, a gigantic structure made of crystal. Walls like shining gemstone mosaics, floors of transparent stone. A ceiling filled with flashes of lightning and moving lights, like stars embedded in a dome. Strange creatures around it, which he calls cherubim, associated with fiery energy in later Jewish tradition. Cherubim are depicted on the Ark of the Covenant, 2 winged beings over a box that emits dangerous power. Some researchers propose that cherubim, in these contexts, are not cute baby angels, but technological devices or energy beings, part of a complex machine. Enoch says the air was filled with fire without smoke, a common ancient description for electricity, plasma, or advanced energy. He enters deeper and sees a vast throne with a blazing figure on it, surrounded by thousands of servitors. The scene reads less like a mystical fog and more like someone walking into the control room of a gigantic starship or interdimensional base. Later, he is shown different realms, a place filled with beings of pure fiery light, who can take on human form at will, storehouses of winds. Hail and heavenly bodies, described as if the weather and celestial movements are being controlled. A place of darkness. Bottomless pits, where rebellious beings are imprisoned as escorts, are angels, but with the ability to fly, shift form, and operate this technology. Compare this with Muhammad's Miraj, riding the luminous creature, Barak into the heavens, Moses entering the cloud and fire on Mount Sinai, Elijah, taken up in a chariot of fire, Zeus and Apollo in Greek, myth-riding, fire-breathing chariots across the sky, different cultures. Same core image, a luminous vehicle, often cloud-like or fiery, taking a chosen human into the sky, revealing a higher realm, then returning them with a message. So we have to ask, were these really supernatural spiritual visions? Or were they contact experiences with advanced non-human intelligences, who simply appeared godlike to ancient eyes? One of the most fascinating parts of the Enoch literature is something scholars call the astronomical book. In it, Enoch describes the paths of the sun and moon, the lengths of days and nights, the patterns of the seasons, the motion of stars through specific gates in the sky. His teacher, the archangel Uriel. Enoch, presents this not as guesswork, but as lessons he received while traveling through the heavens. Some passages sound eerily like someone trying to describe orbital mechanics, and axial tilt with Bronze Age vocabulary. Also describes a 10-week timeline for world history. In symbolic ages, early generations, the age of the Watchers, the flood, the rise and fall of kingdoms, a final age of massive corruption, arrogance, and environmental destruction, followed by a great judgment and a new heaven and new earth. According to the text, 7 weeks have passed. We are somewhere in the remaining 3. It talks about seasons going out of order, people acting as if they are God's knowledge exploding, but wisdom collapsing, chaos spreading over the earth. You don't have to take it literally to feel the resonance with our time. The important thing is this: Enoch wasn't just preaching morality. He was recording data, astronomical, historical, and prophetic, supposedly given by non-human intelligences. No wonder such a book made the religious authorities nervous. If we step outside the Abrahamic framework and look at Mesopotamian myth, we find another set of beings. The Anunnaki, the Sky Kings, or those who from heaven to earth came. According to Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki shaped early humans, ruled over them as gods, lived in cities with advanced technology, and, in some stories, interbred with humans. Their council leader Enlil and the more sympathetic figure Enki appear in myths about creating humans, warning about floods, and arguing about our destiny. Now compare that with Enoch, powerful beings from the heavens, assigned to oversee humans, forbidden mixing with human women, hybrid offspring with superior power, a council that eventually decides to wipe the earth with a flood, a sympathetic minority warning a human in advance. It's hard not to see parallels. Modern, ancient astronaut. Theories suggest that these stories record, in mythologized language, real contact with a technologically advanced, non-human species. If that's true, then the Watchers and Anunnaki might simply be two names for related factions. Now fast forward to later history. Pharaohs, kings, and modern elites have often claimed divine bloodlines. Some occult and conspiracy circles openly say, "We are of the Nephilim line." They symbolize their lineage through colors and heraldry. Red and blue, the mixing of heavenly blue blood with earthly red blood, appear on many imperial flags. The British Union Jack, the American flag, and countless coats of arms, even in pop culture. Our most iconic superheroes wear red and blue. Superman, Spider-Man, Captain America. Children grow up subconsciously associating those colors with safety, protection, and heroism. Is all of that coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe the descendants of these ancient hybrid elites have always used symbolism to keep the myth of their special blood alive. And if they truly see themselves as heirs of the Watchers and Nephilim, then Enoch's story is not ancient history. It's family history. Now we face a crucial question. If Enoch's book was so important, why is it missing from most Bibles and religious curricula? For centuries, the Book of Enoch quietly circulated in certain Jewish and early Christian groups. The New Testament itself even quotes Enoch directly in the letter of Jude. But as Christianity spread through the Roman Empire, it encountered a problem. Too many competing ideas, too many competing gospels, too many texts that encouraged personal questioning and direct experiences instead of blind obedience. The solution was a simple imperial strategy. Officially select certain books as scripture. Label the rest as heretical, dangerous, or cursed. Destroy as many copies as possible. Over the course of about 90 years in many councils, Rome, now wearing religious robes, assembled what we know today as the New Testament canon. Books that encouraged obedience to authority, simplified heaven and hell into a clear reward-punishment system, positioned the church as the necessary mediator, were kept. Books that exposed complex cosmic politics, suggested non-human factions manipulating humanity, questioned the character of the God behind certain events, or empowered people with too much direct knowledge, were often excluded, suppressed, or destroyed. Enoch fell firmly into the second category. It portrays a God who needs reports from angels, loses track of what's happening on earth for centuries, sits on a throne surrounded by armies, reacts with rage and insecurity, fears humans gaining too much knowledge, and is not the serene, all-knowing, infinite creator of philosophical theology. That is a ruler, a being, however powerful, inside the universe. So the empire did the obvious thing. It quietly dropped Enoch. It burned thousands of texts. It labeled many ancient groups, like the Essenes, who likely preserved Enoch, as dangerous cults, then wiped them out, and for nearly 2,000 years, Enoch vanished from Western public consciousness, until a couple of kids threw some rocks into a cave near the Dead Sea. At this point, some people might say, are you attacking religion? Are you denying God? Not at all. If anything, Enoch's story forces us to separate two concepts: the ultimate creator, the infinite source of all existence, beyond words, beyond form, beyond our imagination. The system rulers, powerful beings within creation, governing planets, species, and civilizations. Ancient philosophical traditions across the world, from Neoplatonism to Eastern mysticism, have long said that the true creator is beyond description, beyond gender, beyond throne imagery. Meanwhile, many ancient myths describe local gods and sky kings who behave, frankly, like advanced warlords with technology. Enoch's God fits that second category disturbingly well. So the real danger is not believing in a creator. The danger is confusing a manipulative system God with a true source, and then building entire civilizations around fear, obedience, and control. Because once people are taught, do not question, do not seek hidden knowledge, do not read forbidden books, their spiritual journey is no longer a path. It becomes a prison, and that, perhaps, is why the Book of Enoch was banned. Not because it is ridiculous, but because it is too honest. It shows humans as caught in a struggle between factions of powerful beings, some exploiting us, some trying to help us, all under the watch of a higher truth that they themselves may not fully understand. It hints that, to find the real creator, you may have to step outside the system that claims to represent him, and that is the one thing empires can never allow. So where does that leave us? Enoch, Idris, Thoth, Hermes. One figure, many names. A man who lived through an age of hybrid rulers and cosmic war, was taken aboard luminous clouds into crystalline structures in the sky, spoke with beings of fire and light, learned astronomy, history, and prophecy from them, tried to negotiate between corrupted watchers and a furious heavenly authority, and wrote everything down so that a future generation, maybe ours, could understand what really happened. Is Enoch's book perfectly preserved? Probably not. It's passed through hands, edits, and translations. But even broken, censored, and incomplete, it still raises the questions that matter. Were the angels simply spiritual metaphors? Or were they physical, advanced, non-human intelligences? Is the God of certain ancient texts the ultimate creator, or a powerful system ruler pretending to speak for him? Are our modern elites descendants, by blood or by ideology, of the same controlling forces described in these stories? And most importantly, what happens if humanity starts asking these questions openly? Maybe that's why a desert sect risked everything to hide these scrolls in jars, in caves under rock and dust, waiting for a time when people would finally read them again. Maybe that time is now.